Hello, everyone, and welcome into the newest edition of Cougar Chats. I'm Sam Brief, and today I'm joined by new women's volleyball Coach Tony Trifonov. Welcome on in.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for joining, and I want to start by asking about your goals. You're coming here to Chicago State after a long, very successful playing and coaching volleyball career. What's your primary goal in your endeavor here at Chicago State?
Well, to bring championship experience and championship level of volleyball at Chicago State. Obviously, success hadn't been there for the past quite a few seasons, and we're planning on changing this. It starts with recruiting, obviously. We need to bring some kids in that can compete at a higher level. And WAC is a very good volleyball conference. Usually is one team NCAA tournament conference, but, there have been years like UT Rio Grande Valley and New Mexico State have both made it to the NCAA tournament. And, that would be a goal. If we don't win the conference tournament to make it to the NCAA dance, at least, be good enough to get a high RPI to be in consideration either for the NCAA championships or for the National Invitational Championship, which is a new postseason tournament from the past 3 or 4 years.
Why Chicago State?
Okay, well, Chicago is the greatest sports city in the United States and one of the greatest in the world. I mean, you think about the Chicago Bulls, you think about the Cubs, the Sox, the Bears, there is a professional team at every level, at every sport, with both men and women in Chicago. So it's a great opportunity. I think it's very attractive for recruits. I think it's in a great location. Junior volleyball is great in the state of Illinois and Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota, so we can attract some local talent. Obviously, there is a couple of the best volleyball clubs in the country here, juniors, in sports performance, Aurora, Illinois, and then in Alliance. And, there's tons and tons of others like Uno and, so the talent is in the area. We think that we can attract some of that talent and compete at the highest level at the NCAA.
You mentioned how right now recruiting is a little difficult amidst the COVID situation and scheduling uncertainty. How have you been communicating with your team throughout all of this?
Well, lots of Zoom, lots of WhatsApp, lots of phone calls. That's the only way that we can right now until this whole situation is sorted out. And it is unfortunate, but it's an opportunity to get to know the kids a little bit better. And, instead of jumping in, I got hired in late July, and competing in August was kind of way too quick. So this is going to give me an opportunity to get familiar with the players and have a better plan recruiting wise and for competition, hopefully in the spring. We're all looking forward to compete. And it's unfortunate right now with what's going on with COVID-19, but it will be over eventually, and we'll be ready to go as soon as we get the green light.
What can Cougar fans look for out of your coaching style and your philosophies?
Well, I'm very passionate about the sport of volleyball. I started playing when I was 11, 12 years old, and it's been a big part of my life ever since. So we want our athletes to care, and we want our athletes to compete and compete hard. And as long as we are able to do that, and as long as they're growing as people and as volleyball players and as students, and we've done our job.
You alluded to your playing career, Coach, and you were in the '88 Olympics in Seoul. Tell me your favorite Olympic memory.
It's the Olympic Village.
Yeah. What's it like?
Yeah, it's a big competition. Everybody's going. Everybody's, that's obviously in a competition mindset, and it's a lot of interaction with different countries, with different players. So it's exciting. Were
there any, mega international stars that you came across or met when you were in the Village?
Well, it's so back in the day, you have obviously some of the tennis greats, Steffi Graf and Pete Sampras, exciting. So, basketball wasn't there yet. The dream team was in the '92 Olympics. So, those are probably the few that comes in mind.
Yeah. So you just missed MJ by 4 years.
Yeah, that must have been, some of my former teammates have like the experience of meeting, I mean, obviously 92, it wasn't a year that Bulgaria qualified, but, in 96, it was, I believe, I don't know if that was Kobe first year or like it was later on, but some of my former teammates have met Kobe and like, I mean, had a great experience, like I'm just the greatest guy. The story that they're telling me is just like incredible.
That's wonderful. But now when you made the transition from playing to coaching, how difficult was it to change that mindset from being focused as an individual and an athlete to contribute to a team to overseeing the whole team? And now you've got this career where you know it like the back of your hand.
Well, that's what I started studying, like that's where I graduated from college in Bulgaria, from the National Sports Academy. Like we have an institute in Bulgaria for higher education that is for coaches only. And, like it's very interesting setup. And it was like from the Eastern Europe bloc. I mean, the school is still a part of education there, and is the only one in the country that educates coaches and physical education teachers. So, that's where I went. And my professors were great and former coaches, obviously, in the sports of volleyball. And one of them was a head coach of the 1970 Bulgarian national team that finished second in the world in the World Championships. They lost to Germany in an epic 5-set thriller. And like, I mean, he passed away a few years ago, but like he's one of my great influences in volleyball. His name was Dmitry Gigov, and I guess it showed me a lot about coaching and about volleyball in general and about life. And I was still very, very young. I left Bulgaria when I was 23, almost 24 years old. So in the beginning of my career, but it was an opportunity for me to come here and like continue life. The transition wasn't that difficult from playing to, coaching, since I went through schooling for that. And I had some great influences. I mean, obviously I've had a Hall of Famer in the name of Dmitry Zlatanov. He's the only Bulgarian to be inducted in the International FIVB Hall of Fame in Holyoke, Massachusetts. He was one of my coaches growing up. So like I've learned a lot from him. Like it was not that difficult of a transition because I grew up playing volleyball and been through a lot of coaches that I took a lot from. So coming to the United States, I started first with kids in junior high and then in high school. Interesting fact there, Wade Boggs from the Yankees' daughter played on my JV team.
Really?
Oh, all right. So that was like really, really like interesting, like when he comes to games and, like everybody's trying to go and get his autograph, and he was kind of like really, really like nonchalant about it. But, like, I mean, obviously he came to watch his daughter. So it wasn't never a distraction though. It was always a good thing. That was at the Academy of Holy Names in Tampa, Florida, which was my first coaching job here in the States. And then I started a club with in the Junior Olympics, obviously, and we had like great success there, helped kids to get scholarships to a lot of Division I schools. And that what kind of like led my transition into college volleyball. Then a coaching opportunity came about in Florida A&M. It was a head coaching job. And, like I took it. I've been there for 21 years, then went to Seward County Community College for 2, and now I'm at Chicago State.
And while you were at Florida A&M, your team went on a ridiculous run of conference matches that they won in a row. It was from 01 to 08. You didn't lose a single conference match. Absolute dominance. What was the key behind all that?
Well, we were able to get some good players. I mean, that's always the key. And then, like with my experience, I was able to get the best out of them and the most out of them. Like obviously hard work, of course, and then competing at a good level. And it took a little bit of time to change the culture. So this is one of the more difficult things when you're taking over a program that hadn't had a whole lot of success, maybe some in a conference, but not nationally. So, like, I mean, this is always the challenge. And once those kids buy into the philosophy and start seeing the improvement in games and start competing with some of the better teams, I mean, it took about like 3 or 4 years until we get to that level. But once you get the confidence, then it becomes a part of your culture and a part of your success.
And I know all of us and Cougar fans are excited to see you bring that same mentality here to Chicago State.
Right, and that's the plan. And like I said, I mean, hopefully, again, we'll be able to recruit here pretty soon. I know the NCAA has still a ban on in-person recruiting and off-campus recruiting until September 30th. But I mean, online recruiting is not something that I'm completely unfamiliar with. Like we do a lot of video analysis and see a lot of players that way. Obviously, some of the junior programs are still going and practicing, and we're able to see some film from some of the kids that are interested in Chicago State and get an evaluation going. And like it's a never-ending process with recruiting.
Well, we look forward to seeing it unfold, Coach. And before I let you go, I want to hit you with some lightning round questions. All right?
Shoot.
All right, you're an open book. Here we go. First question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a cook are you?
8.
Okay, what's your specialty?
Steak.
Steak? Oh, okay, I'm on my way. Would you rather be fluent in every language in the world or be able to communicate with animals?
Oh, wow. Be fluent in every language in the world.
What's your favorite planet other than Earth?
Mars.
What's the best junk food?
Oh, man. Oh, there's so many. Best junk food? It's got to be McDonald's.
All right. All right. What's your order?
Double cheeseburger.
All righty. Well, we have plenty of McDonald's here in Chicago, so can't wait to have you. What's your favorite day of the week?
Sunday.
What's your dream car?
Oh, man. Bugatti Veyron.
Ooh, good choice. Favorite school subject?
Favorite school subject? I would say history.
Any specific history?
Ancient world.
Wonderful.
Rome and Egypt.
And finally, what is your favorite kind of bread?
Sourdough.
There we go. Great minds think alike. Sourdough it is. Awesome, Coach. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. We have to do this again.
Absolutely. Can't wait to have you here in Chicago. And Cougar fans, stay tuned for the next edition of Cougar Chats.
Go Cougars.